Hey, what's up, all you duckies out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm back again with DuckTales, the 2017 reboot. It's Season three's Episode 9 titled, They Put a Moonlander on Earth? On the Earth, sorry. Let's get that title correct. Let's put some respect on that title. As we open up with Webby, trying to find people within McDuck Mansion, and considering how large it is, that's like an all-day task. But she does end up spotting Penumbra outside, cleaning up a lot of the debris from the spaceships in order to get enough in order to create a ship large enough to bring all the Moonlanders who are on Earth, moon people. Shouldn't call them moonlanders. Moon people on the Earth back to the moon. So she's doing that. Apparently, she's been doing that ever since the finale of the second season. So she's busy with that. Meanwhile, Dewey and Louie are busy watching marathoning Ottoman Empire for like the umpteenth time, much to the dismay of Webby, who wants to go out and just do stuff, enjoy life outside of the mansion. But then an advertisement by Flintheart Glomgold, the supposed protector of Earth, apparently he's been telling everyone, "Oh, I'm the reason why we defeated the Moon people." And while technically that's true, he wasn't the sole reason why the Moon people were defeated. But apparently he has this glom wheel, as he puts it, which will be even better than his glom coaster, which was a death trap that this kid, Timmy Jenkins, ended up being trapped on. And the only reason he ended up being trapped on it was because Dewey let him go in front of him. And Dewey wanted the fame that Timmy Jenkins ended up getting because he was trapped on the glom coaster. So Dewey's all in on this little excursion. Meanwhile, Della meets up with her best friend, talking about how, while it's great that Penny is trying her best to get everyone back to the moon, she feels that Penny should at least try at least a little bit to adapt to Earth culture. And Penny lets her know that she tried it out by going on a date with Launchpad. However, it did not go well. You know, they went out for coffee and Penumbra was not too keen of the bitter liquid. Which I understand that. I'm not a big fan of coffee either. But when the kids asked to go to the Glom coaster, Della actually says that they should include Penny. That way she can actually have a nice day out and enjoy Earth fun. However, Penumbra says that she actually already has a meeting to go to with Gibbous and Zenith, who were big Earth lovers back when they were on the moon, and we see that they've gone completely native. They're all into the Earth culture, especially even with their cute little doggy, who's wearing a lot of snap bracelets for some reason. Like, it's straight up 90s up in this. It even turns out that a lot of the people from the moon have adapted to Earth life, and they even had a party, of which Penumbra was not invited to, mostly because she just hates Earth stuff, or at least they feel that she hates Earth fun, and a lot of them are kind of cool with just staying on Earth, but they'll understand if Penumbra wants to go back, but it would be without everyone else, basically, which really rubs Penumbra the wrong way. So she heads back to McDuck Manor, demanding to engage in some Earth fun. Earth fun! Earth fun! So, we then cut up to Gibbous and his new job as the assistant of Flintheart Glomgold ever since Owlson left, which she was never his assistant, but he always thought she was. And, that's going on. They're going to open up the glom wheel and all that good stuff. Meanwhile, Webby is determined to get Penumbra to have some fun, with them just hanging out on the out of the sky roof for the limo. Meanwhile, Launchpad, he's just in such a bad way because of how badly the date went, but he wants to just be friends with Penumbra, but he's not sure if because the date went so poorly that she no longer wants to be his friend. In fact, he thinks that she might actually hate him. So he's not quite certain, and even stops driving, not stopping the car, mind you. He stops driving in order to ask her, with the interaction being so cringeworthy that he literally just jumps out of the car, with him thinking that, oh, I probably should have just kept driving the limo. So the limo goes careening down the road. Penumbra tries to stop it with her bare friggin' hands, friggin' Wonder Woman over here. But Webby, ever the thinker, just stops it with the friggin' brakes. But Penny ends up being flung into some fish at the pier as they come to a dead stop. But at the other end of the pier, we see the Glom Wheel, which is, oof, it's looking rough, buddy. With Glom Gold dismissing any of the extra parts, as it were. And, mind you, anyone who has ever put something together, if you have extra parts, that usually means you did something wrong. And, while it's obviously a safety hazard, Glomgold, mockingly says that, oh, maybe I should call it a safety inspector to make sure it's up to snuff. And it's obvious he's being sarcastic, but Gibbous doesn't take it that way and actually calls a safety inspector. Meanwhile, at the pier, Webby and Dewey try their best to get Penumbra to have some fun, but her volatile nature just makes it really hard and really puts off Launchpad, who thinks that she's angry because of him and the poor date that they went on. And I love this moment, the moment where Penumbra sees an actual just straight up duck, and then she looks at the duck, she looks at Dewey and Webby, and it's just like, um, excuse me? Like, excuse me? And this joke was actually seen in Fantasia 2000, where you have the same joke with Donald seeing just a regular duck, and it's just like, yo, what the hell is this? But Penumbra just continues to have a bad time altogether and just cannot get the hang of skating. And ultimately, when Webby begs Penumbra not to give up, Penumbra just makes it known that she just found life simpler on the moon, where she would protect the people there, and it was nothing too bad for her to do. Her strength was in protecting people. She knew what she was, she knew the person that she was supposed to be. But Webby pours her heart out to Penumbra, saying that ultimately, she had trouble of her own just going out into the world. She was so used to being in the mansion that it just was her way of life. But then she was able to actually just go out into the world and explore, and she was actually able to just embrace life for the most part. She was still the Webby who lived in the mansion, but she could also be the Webby who went out into the world. And Penumbra adapts to this after actually enjoying a hamburger. In fact, a lot of hamburgers on top of that. And when she tries ice cream, unfortunately, she ends up getting a brain freeze and going absolutely berserk. Meanwhile, Timmy Jenkins, Dewey's rival for this episode, ends up, opening up the Glom wheel, much to the dismay of Dewey. But then the safety inspector shows up, and Glom Gold's pissed as all hell because it's just like, no, I was being facetious. And it's obvious the Glom wheel is about to be shut down. However, Penumbra, is seen going berserk, and immediately Glomgold points the finger at her, saying it was her. She sabotaged my wheel. It's all because of her and her, it was revenge for the fall of the moon people in the battle. And so security goes after Penumbra. So Webby tries to hide out with Penny, but Penny has been completely disillusioned by the Earth and feels that she'll go back to the moon even if she has to do so alone. But they end up being spotted, so, Penny, Webby, and Dewey, who was brought along at the last second, end up running towards the Ferris wheel. And Glomgold has Gibbous start the wheel early, which ends up trapping Webby and Dewey on the wheel, with the revelation being that the wheel was actually just a front and it's actually a cannon meant to fire upon McDuck Mansion. But the safety inspector says that, yeah, that wheel is not going to hold up with that cannon. It'll probably fall apart before it even gets to fire. But that leaves the kids inside, with Dewey like seeing the media, gather and thinking that it's time to shine, only for them to go after Timmy Jenkins. Meanwhile, as Penumbra tries to reach the Ferris wheel to save the kids, Glomgold and Gibbous, who is very reluctant at this point, stand in her way. And, Launchpad actually tries to help out, trying to go after Glomgold to keep him from, stopping Penny, and Penny asks for Gibbous' help to engage in some Earth fun, with him holding up a mirror so that Penny can use the skates in order to propel herself off the ramp that Gibbous made onto the wheel so that she can make it up to the kids. And when she does make it up to them, Webby is distraught, feeling that ultimately, because of this, Penumbra won't it still won't like the Earth. It's been a disastrous day. But Penumbra says that, this has shown that she does have something to protect on Earth. The kids, if nothing else, because of all the trouble that they get in, she can be a protector of the McDuck family, and if nothing else, the McDuck kids. And so she manages to save the kids before the wheel goes crashing into the sea, and Glomgold receives a mountain of citations and fines, as well as a bill for damages to the pier and a thank you letter from Timmy Jenkins, with Gibbous telling him that his next scheme will go off without a hitch, with Glomgold thinking, I can't stay mad at you, Gibbous. And Penumbra clears up that she, didn't hate the date that she went on with Launchpad and isn't mad at him. It's just that she doesn't want to date an Earth male, which, easily could be seen as, oh, she just doesn't want to date an Earthman, but it was cleared up by Sam King, who worked on this episode in a lot of ways. Like, he worked on the writing, he worked on the storyboards, he worked on the as a partial director on this episode, that Penumbra is in fact a lesbian. She's all about that gay life. So she's not into dudes in general. So good on you, Penumbra. I love that representation. And as the media leaves after interviewing Timmy Jenkins, Dewey is distraught as once again Timmy Jenkins has managed to one up him, with Jenkins saying, better luck next time, Dewey. This kid knows how to play the game, much to Dewey's dismay. And so the next day, Gibbous tells um, Zenith and Della all about everything that happened, with Della saying, yeah, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't let you kids go. But Penumbra basks in, being the savior of the day yet again, much to her delight, saying that she will continue to stick around in order to help protect the kids wherever she can, even going as far as to dismantle the ship that she made, finding that ultimately it's not going to carry a whole bunch of people, so there's no point in it being so large. So as Launchpad arrives and and Penumbra goes to dismantle the ship. Gibbous and Zenith ask if she'll be at the next party for all the Moonlanders, with Penny saying that she wouldn't miss it. It'll be a barrel of monkeys. And they end up heading out with Penny's newfound purpose on Earth, much to the delight of Webby. And I absolutely loved this episode. It was nice to finally see how the moon people were doing, what was going on with them, because it was weird that it's just like you think this would have been the first episode or something for the season, but I think this is supposed to take place like a year after the end of season 2, so because I think this was supposed to be an anniversary for when Glomgold apparently defeated the moon people, so I'm not sure, but you know, that was the episode. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about Penny and her apparent sexual orientation? Which, good on her. And what did you think about Penumbra in general? Were you happy to have a Penumbra episode, or was this not the episode that you were hoping for Penumbra? Also, sorry for all the noise in the background, people mowing lawn and all that good stuff, but I wasn't going to stop recording for that. But again, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you never miss out on another DuckTales episode review. And until then, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.